Well, welcome to Focus Today. Got a very interesting guest with us today who does really an incredible work. Ed Boyer's with us today. He's the founder and president and CEO of Mercy Medical Airlift, which last week celebrated its 100,000th mission. Boy, that's a lot. Ed, nice to have you with us today.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Oh, fascinating story. Tell us about, first of all, what is Mercy Medical Airlift?
Well, it is a nonprofit 501c3. Some people would call it a parachurch ministry. At any rate, our purpose and mission is to ensure that no needy patient is denied access to distant specialized medical care or medical evaluation, diagnosis, whatever, for lack of a means to undertake the travel to get where they need to be. There's far more long-distance travel required for specialized medical care than most people realize. And the sad fact of the matter is, if you're unable to afford the cost of that travel, you may in fact be denied that benefit of medical care. And insurance rarely covers that cost of travel if it's involved in your situation.
Well, that's fascinating. And how did this get started?
Well, it's way back in the early 1970s, a group of 3 or 4 of us in a particular church in Northern Virginia were involved as pilots and had access to an aircraft. And some people 2 or 3 times over a period of 2 or 3 months asked if we could transport somebody to a distant facility for some kind of special operation. And they were ambulatory outpatients, so they didn't need any medical care en route. And so the answer was yes, there were no reason why we shouldn't help, and we did help. And it took a while there in those early days to come to understand how huge the requirement was in the United States, but in fact it is huge. And of course, there's been enormous growth since those early days.
No question about that. Now, I understand you have a partnership with American Airlines?
Yes, we have a partnership with American Airlines. That particular one is focused on transporting veterans, wounded warriors, and or their adversely affected families. And we've done nearly 60,000 of those in the last just 10 years alone.
Wow.
And that continues. Now, we do have partnerships with the other major airlines in the United States and work with all of them. But that particular one with American has been large and has had a special impact because of the emphasis on wounded warriors and those returning from the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
How are you funded?
Well, like any nonprofit, we're funded by donations. We don't charge for what we do. That would be kind of useless because the people we're helping aren't able to pay. It comes from individuals. Fundings come from civic clubs, Rotary clubs, some churches supply support, foundations, and corporations.
Now, if somebody owns a plane, a private pilot owns a plane and wants to make that available, are you open to those kinds of things? Is that how it works?
Yes, in the particular case for pilots in Oregon, we would refer them to a sister organization known as Angel Flight West, and they can get involved in that kind of activity under their aegis there. And we certainly would welcome help of any kind, no matter what the organizational connection.
Now, I might imagine you use a variety of aircrafts to transport people. Are most of these patients like laying down, or are some sitting up? I mean, are all the above?
Mostly sitting up. These are what we call, again, ambulatory outpatients. There's no medical care provided en route, and their physicians have to certify that they can travel long distance that way without any medical care or monitoring en route. When you get to the medical care and monitoring, then you get into what's called air ambulance. And while we do get involved in helping people get major discounts on commercial air ambulances, we don't directly ourselves operate an air ambulance.
Now, what FAA rules are you operating under? Do you have to have 2 pilots, or does it make a difference?
Well, let me put it this way.
I'm a pilot, so I'm just kind of curious how you're doing this.
Okay. The most groups around the country operate under Part 91,
Right.
as do our folks here. However, we do have a special contract with the Federal Aviation Administration that effectively raises our standards to where the safety aspects of Part 135 are roped into and made part of our operational protocol. So in a certain sense, we're a hybrid Part 135, Part 91.
All right. Do you require 2 pilots?
Yes.
Okay. So how is it spreading? I mean, you've been very active on the East Coast. How are you spreading throughout the United States?
Well, we actually have several different modes of travel. The private aircraft mode is handled nationwide by a network of about 6 local or regional organizations referred to as Angel Flights, as the one I referenced, Angel Flight West, that handles the West Coast. The other larger mode of transport that we're involved with is through the airlines. We fly thousands of patients a year through donated airline miles that these folks, again, are going for specialized medical treatment. And then we operate ground transportation programs, provide gas cards for patients that have a way to drive but no money for gas. We provide bus tickets. We provide Amtrak tickets.
Wow.
There are all kinds of different ways that together results in today there's more than 1,000 patients transported in the United States per month. I did look it up this morning on the computer, and actually today in the U.S. we're transporting 55 patients involving 23 different states.
That's just amazing. You must have some incredible stories of saved lives.
Yes, that we do. Now, most things are a bit more routine, and we trust and pray that the results of the medical care they receive, because we were able to get them there, brings positive things into their life. But there are times when lives are saved. People flown across the country for one-of-a-kind operations only done one place, for example, or PTSD patients that are flown for special PTSD workup and treatments, prolonged treatments. There are plenty of lives being saved, but
I have seen ads in various aviation magazines where even corporations are opening up empty seats in some of their corporate jets to transport. Do you kind of work with that or arrange that?
No, we're not the ones that do that. That's our fine organization referred to as Corporate Angel Network.
Right.
They transport about 1,000 patients a year on empty seats in corporate aircraft. Now, the fact of the matter is, patient has to be going where the corporate aircraft is going.
Right, right.
No special flights are made just for the advantage of the patient. But that's a part of the total mosaic here in the United States.
That's just wonderful. Well, listen, how can people get a hold of you and help you or become a part of what you do?
Well, they can do that. We have what's called a National Patient Travel Helpline, and it receives just, it's ringing off the hook all the time. That number, which is a 24-hour-a-day number, is 800-296-1217.
800-296-1217. You have a website?
Yes, the website is www.mercymedical, those 2 words all run together, mercymedical.org, O-R-G.
Well, Edward, this is just really an incredible thing how the Lord has blessed you and moved this. What do you think's in the future? Where do you think this is going?
What's happening right now, I think, is the trend of the future, and that is there is more and more of the long-distance transportation being done by ground means. General aviation is slowing down for a number of factors largely related to the economy. Available airline tickets have taken a dip here recently. Many of the airlines allow people to use their frequent flyer miles to get toasters and magazine subscriptions and so on, instead of, and not in lieu of, as it were, the opportunity to donate those miles, which they can do to help patients. And we have a special website just for that. It's www.angelsdonate frequent flyer miles, or ffmiles.org, and it tells folks what airline miles can be donated and how, and so on and so forth.
Well, thank you for your time. This is absolutely fascinating, and blessings on what you do, and maybe some folks there in our area will get involved. I know quite a few pilots that have planes that probably would qualify under the combination of 135 and 91, so I guess the best thing they can do is get a hold of Angel Flight West and see how it can work out.
That's correct.
All right. Thank you, Edward. Blessings on you. Keep up the good work, my friend.
Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to talk. Thanks.
All right. God bless. We'll be right back.